One of the biggest challenges for many professionals who aspire to write and publish a book is time management. As an aspiring author, not only do you need incredible dedication and motivation to write a book from start to finish, but you also need efficient management of your time to juggle the many responsibilities that come with being an author. Right from figuring out a publishing plan, understanding your target audience, and implementing your marketing strategy, there are just so many different things you need to be on top of if you hope to be a successful author. Today, we have with us investment banker
Right.
and best selling poet Vickey Uppal, who not only juggled his role as an investment banker and a passionate poet to write and publish his first poetry book, Poet by Mistake, but he also took on the responsibility of being an author to make his book one of the top ranked books for poetry in this country. And Vicky is also an active poetry influencer on Instagram, with his page racking up close to 80,000 followers on his Instagram profile. Vicky, it's an absolute pleasure to have you with us today. And it's been one hell of a journey for you, I'm sure. How do you feel right now?
Thank you, Shashank, for having me. I feel over the moon, because as a debutant coming up with my first book, I never imagined that my book would have, was received so well by everyone.
Right.
And the whole journey has been very beautiful, and I believe you grow through what you go through. So the
Mm-hmm.
whole platform, how I started my journey with my poetries, has been incredible, and the
Mm-hmm.
book has been doing very good for the
That's right.
last 1.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really really over the moon. When I started, I never imagined that it would become so big. So I'm
Right.
really really happy.
Right. You spoke about your journey. How about when you started out? Did you ever think this is a place where you could end up? When you started writing poetry so many years ago.
Well, I think it was bound to happen at some point, but I did not know when, because investment banking is something which I'm very passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
But poetry is what got my attention. Even as a
Right.
child, I would scribble quotes and I would highlight the lines which stayed with me. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
you know, so that ways, if you think, it was maybe just a matter of time when things would have worked out. But sitting right now, if you would have told me my book would have been the top five poetry books in
Right.
India, or
Mm-hmm.
I would be having more than or close to 80,000 followers in Instagram.
Instagram, yeah.
Uh, Honestly, I would have not imagined reaching so far so
Right.
soon. uh, yeah, but I'm extremely happy how it shaped out, and with all the love and support of the my followers and readers all over the country has been very overwhelming.
Brilliant. You also touched upon how you started writing poetry even when you were a child. So, at what point did you
Right.
actually think about publishing it as a book? Given the fact that you were also a busy professional, right? When did you
You're right.
start thinking maybe you want to become a published author and go down this route uh, of kickstart your journey as a published author?
Correct. So what happened was, what started as a passion now really occupies an integral part of my life right now.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole process started. I still remember my first poem which I published online. Was I started my page Poet by Mistake on Instagram on 10th April 2018. I remember it clearly, and that is where my passion took off, and I would go ahead and post my work online. And
Mm-hmm.
in a matter of few months, I got 10,000 plus followers on Instagram.
Wow.
So that was really that what encouraged me and motivated me to continue writing and share my work with the audience.
Right.
And also, a lot of my followers started relating to my work online.
Mm-hmm.
And that is when I thought that this is a good time, and I wanted to translate this passion into something more serious and
Mm-hmm.
consider it as a profession. So
Right.
that is when I reached out to Notion Press. It was a later part of 2018, and I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to publish a book because I wanted to reach out to a greater audience,
Mm-hmm.
because I wanted to reach out more souls in the world, spread
Right.
my work, so that it touches more hearts, and wanted to grow my career. So it was later half of 2018 where I was serious about getting my first book published.
Mm-hmm.
And I still remember our first meeting back in Delhi.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So, and then my
absolutely.
book finally got published on 1st January 2019.
Mm-hmm.
So, as you said, it's been a beautiful journey. But of course, as you said, being an investment banker, also an author, it is challenging, but it's also very important uh, to give a lot of time. You know,
Right. Absolutely.
it can be just 1 hour in the day, or it can be just a couple of hours in the day, but it
Mm-hmm.
requires your full attention, your full focus, and your
Mm-hmm.
time towards that particular writing, which you want to go ahead and publish or reach out to people all over the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that is how the whole process of getting the book published began in 2018.
Right. And I think one thing that was really interesting that I noted when you said you started out writing poetry, and you actually had a lot of followers on Instagram immediately, right? And that also, I'm sure, served as a point of validation. That's something that a lot of authors actually seek
Right.
when they start writing. They don't know if people are going to like what they've written, and they're always seeking that validation. Sometimes a lot of times, they actually ask the publisher as well.
Correct.
In your case, I think you received that validation right from the beginning. So you knew clearly you had an audience and you just wanted to push forward and get your book published. Is that correct?
Right. So basically, what happens is, even there are so many authors and people out there who want to write poetry, or who want to write fiction, or
Mm-hmm.
are aspiring authors or poets out there, right?
Right.
So basically, what suggestion I can give is that first you need to find your niche, right?
Mm-hmm.
You need to identify what kind of writing you want to write, or even
Mm-hmm.
if you are a poet, what is going to be your genre. Are you going to write about love? Are you going to write something motivational? Are you writing quotes? Are you writing lengthy pieces, with rhyming words? So one needs to identify their niche, identify what is their strength, and they should stick to it.
Mm-hmm.
Similarly, when it came to me, I started writing only about love and heartbreak, grief
Yeah.
and healing. So that
Mm-hmm.
is my genre. So I would suggest that anyone who wants to be an author or a writer first needs to identify their strength and stick to a particular genre.
Right.
Once you expertise that particular field,
Mm-hmm.
once you make that mark, or once you're getting that validation online or from your readers, that is
Mm-hmm.
when you can start diversifying in writing about other topics as well, right?
Right.
So that is my suggestion, or that is how I went ahead with my writing. And the most important part of writing, or even when you are publishing your book,
Mm-hmm.
whatever you're writing needs to come from your heart. Because if it does not come from your heart, it will not reach someone else's heart who's reading your work, right?
Yeah.
So that is very important. Plus, practice. The more you write, the better you're going to get. So
Mm.
these are, small suggestions I can give out to the people out there who are aspiring to be poets or authors.
So really well put, Vicky. You had plenty of tips for our upcoming authors today in India. But I also want to touch upon the fact, that you as an investment banker, you were an investment banker, and that comes with its own set of challenges and responsibilities. You still took that leap and decided to become a published author and take on that challenge as well, the additional challenge, right? So I want to ask you, given the fact that you had such a busy career, how did you manage your time, and how did you manage to juggle between your career and your life as an author, which is also, like you mentioned, very demanding and needs focus and attention, right? If anyone hopes to be successful.
Uh, right. See, what happens is there are some things which comes easy to you with time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's for an example, if someone is a chef, right? So
Mm-hmm.
for him, cooking comes very easy compared to myself. Even someone
Okay.
who's a sports person who's been doing something for a while, right? So
Absolutely.
it
Yeah.
does come easy to them, but not necessarily they can justify their work over a period of time until and unless they dedicate a proper time to their writing, right?
Right.
Now, for an example, I am writing all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I may be working 9 to 5, but in my mind, I'm writing 24/7. It's like, it's like poetry is in my subconscious.
Mm-hmm.
It's only a matter of, where you are planning your day.
Mm-hmm.
Just how you plan your day, that I have to get up at this time, I have to reach office at this time, you have a lunch at a particular time. Similarly, according with any field of job or a business that you're running, you have to allocate a particular time to your writing as well.
Mm-hmm.
So you maybe have thoughts all over the day, but there has to be a allocated time, maybe in the evening or morning, whatever time suits you, where you have to put pen to paper, right? You
Yeah.
have to be clear of your concept is what you're going to write. Since
Mm-hmm.
I am a poet, luckily, I write like 3 lines, 4 lines, or 5 lines. So
Mm-hmm.
for me, what I can say is that it comes relatively easy because it does not take too much time. All I need to
Mm-hmm.
do is take out a couple of time, put pen to paper, what
Mm-hmm.
concept I am thinking that day, and
Mm-hmm.
take out my feelings and put it on writing, so that someone out there who's going to read it will get inspired or motivated or feel good reading it, right?
Right.
So anyone who wants to juggle or wants to understand that how you should allocate time and to your job and to your writing as well, it is very important that you have your whole day planned out. Just like
Right.
how you dedicate time for your eating, you dedicate time to spend with your family, at the
Mm-hmm.
same time you have to take out time and dedicate to writing with 100% commitment.
Mm-hmm.
That is what I can say.
Yeah, I guess what you're trying to say is, it's not just about, writing or your career. It's a whole lifestyle that you have to adapt and build if you want to like juggle two things simultaneously and be successful at both, something that you've done. Another thing I actually wanted to ask, like if I can expand on that, a lot of authors actually say, it's also important to break down your goals. A lot of people think about, writing maybe 150 pages or 200 pages, and of course, it's a huge task at that point when you're starting out. It's a huge mountain to climb, and that's where a lot of people get demotivated as well. Did you, did you try to break down your goals into like, did you set yourself smaller goals rather and try to like achieve it? Did you do something like that? Because that's something a lot of authors also tell other authors to sort of do when it comes to writing, at least.
Right. So from my personal experience, of course, goals are very important, and timeline is also very important.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you do not have that in place, your whole thought process, your whole building your career of writing goes for a toss. Like
Mm-hmm.
for an example, when I opened my page Poet by Mistake on Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I had a set of work in hand. My writings were there in my book.
Right.
So I had a certain number of poems with me, and then is when I decided to start my page.
Right.
Similarly, when I wanted to publish my first book,
Mm-hmm.
so I had set a timeline in the terms of that I need to reach these many followers online to
Right.
create a particular audience for my work,
Mm-hmm.
and that is when I'm going to publish my first book.
Right.
But
Right.
similarly, when you publish your first book, you also need to timeline it, that how long are you going to market it,
Mm-hmm.
what are the advertising that you're going to do,
Mm-hmm.
what is the kind of genre you're writing, what is the benefit of your readers are going to get purchasing that particular book,
Mm-hmm.
and after how long are you going to give something back to them. For an example, now it's been, I think, more than 1.5 years since my first book has come out, right? So now
Mm-hmm.
my timeline is like, by early next year I want to come up with my second book.
Oh,
And
brilliant.
also I am planning also I am planning to come up with some merchandises of Poet by Mistake, right?
Oh,
So you
lovely.
need to have these small goals on how you want to amplify your work, uh,
Mm-hmm.
how much are you ready to give back to your audience, what are you doing more for them, so they are interested in that particular brand, or they are interested in your work, how are you
Mm-hmm.
helping them out. So you
Right.
should have these small little goals and timelines, and stick to it and continue to grow. and you have to be patient.
Absolutely.
There are times when I was writing online, and this is before when even I had published my first book, where there were times that I got demotivated because the growth that I was expecting at that point of time, I was not achieving those goals, whether it was the number of followers, or whether it was the number of likes, or what is the engagement and comments coming on my work, right? There will be days which will be low, and there will be days which will be really
Absolutely.
motivating and encouraging for you, right? So you
Mm-hmm.
have to be very patient. You have to stick to it and continue, and have a lot of engagement with your followers, understand what they are looking for, what kind of books they want to read, what kind of genre they want to read, how you can help them out, how you can inspire them. So these are the small little goals, I think, if one has in place or spends
Mm-hmm.
some time making these timelines and goals and how to go ahead, a
Mm-hmm.
very, not a very broad, but a very small roadmap, some
Mm-hmm.
blueprint of what you want to do.
Right, right. So I guess for all aspiring professionals out there who hope to embark on this journey, what Vicky is saying here is, it's important to have a plan for everything, whether it's, just the writing part or the marketing, the publishing part. It's important that you have a plan, and it's also important that you break down your goal into smaller goals, uh, and then look at achieving
Right.
smaller goals first and keep yourself motivated that way. And another thing that's very important that you said, it's a lifestyle that has to that you need to like change. Not just It's not just about focusing on writing or your career. It's a whole lifestyle that you need to adopt if you hope to be successful and juggle both your career and your writing. Well, Vicky, thank you so much for taking the time off from your extremely busy schedule. I'm sure to have a chat with me today. I'm
Pleasure.
sure our viewers learned a lot about what it takes to become successful as a professional expert and a published author. Thank you so much again. Good luck on your journey for your second book as well. And hopefully, we'll talk soon to you about your second book and marketing it and so on. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Shashank. It was a pleasure talking to you. Take care. Bye bye.